I'm more than a bird, I'm more than a plane, I'm more than some pretty face beside the trade. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. With special guests Liam, Tim, and Eden, and Ryan, but you won't hear from Ryan because he doesn't want to be on the podcast. This is the podcast where all six of us went and saw a movie at our local Regal Cinema Theater, and now we're going to talk about it in the parking structure, right next to the movie theater, in Matt's Honda Pilot. We're going to talk about such things as: should you see this movie? Should you not see this movie? Should you bring your family? Should you go by yourself? Should you bring a date? Should you snack, nap, or craft? Do you need to pay attention to every single second of the movie to get it, or can you just really let the world slide you by? I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy, and welcome to this episode. We saw a movie. This movie is called Superman, not the original Superman from 78. Thank you. This is a 2025 edition of Superman. And Todd, I have to say, I'm a little disappointed you didn't give us the Superman theme coming in.
I thought about it, but I don't think it would sound good if I don't think I can recreate it and do it justice. I can sing the Superman song for Five for Fighting and butcher it, and that's fine.
Yes.
But I don't mind.
It was a fine choice.
But I'd feel bad if I disgraced John Williams like that.
Fair enough.
I would owe John Williams $5.
You would.
But I don't give out money unless you come on the podcast. So John,
that's right. John, wherever you are,
I
think he's still alive. For now. Well, anyway.
You better do the podcast before you die, though.
Wow. So we saw Superman. There's various people in it. Tim, who might we know from this cast of characters?
Well, it is a mix of known names and unknown names, I would say. Our lead Superman is played by David Corenswet, who will become a household name soon enough, but he is not, I would say, going into this. His biggest movie role before this was in Twisters, I would say, and he's been in some British television and things over the years. Rachel Brosnahan plays Lois. She was most known she was the lead on the Marvelous Miss Maisel show on Amazon. She was also in, what was that Ben Affleck movie about the trying to sneak the people off the plane?
Fargo.
Yes. No, not Fargo.
Argo.
Yes, Argo. Yes, she was in that as well. I remember her from that.
Fargo, but get the F out.
Yeah. And then Nicholas Hoult is in this. He plays Lex Luthor. He's been around a while now in a lot of movies. He was most recently in Nosferatu. He was in the Dracula movie Renfield. He was in... I first saw him in Warm Bodies, the zombie movie. He was Beast in the X-Men franchise. He was on Mad Max Fury Road. He was one of the henchmen. So he's been around a lot. And and then Nathan Fillion, famously of Firefly and various other projects, and of course he's in this. He's been in a lot of James Gunn's stuff over the years. The only other name is Isabella Merced is playing Hawk Girl in this. She was she was Dora in the live action movie, and she's been in a few other movies. She was in Madam Web for a hot second, so she's not her first superhero go. But I would say that's it for
Wasn't it though? Are we counting Madam Web?
Dora the Explorer is a superhero.
That's fair as well.
I agree with that.
You can't bring that information up and then not talk about the guy who played Mr. Terrific, who was in X-Men First Class.
He was next. Yeah, Edie Gathegi, who was Darwin in X-Men First Class, and gets to play a superhero again, which he's even said is a kind of a make good, as he puts it. So I'd say that's it for the main names, and of course James Gunn directed it. He most famously doing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for the MCU.
What about Bradley Cooper?
I was gonna say, I don't know if that was he was not in the credits nor listed.
He is in the credits.
He's absolutely in the credits.
I didn't see him. Okay, yes, he is Jor-El in this version. Although he plays an important part of the story, even though he's only in it for a little bit.
And there is a voice actress who is what is her name? Clementoff.
Oh, yes. A lot of James Gunn's usual people show up even as voices in this. She's one of them, Pom Klementieff, who's, of course, in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies as Mantis. I think Michael Rooker was one of them. Alan Tudyk is also the main robot, and he's, of course, been in a lot of Firefly as well, and other James Gunn works.
He plays a lot of robots.
He does. I saw a promo where he said that.
Yes.
I'd say that's it.
I'd say that's it.
I think the woman who was Laurel was Ratcatcher too.
Oh, I think that's probably true. Yeah.
As long as we're throwing stuff out there.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. We've thrown our things
Yes.
out there,
Lots
and
of
now
things.
what is Superman all about? Well, if you haven't heard of Superman, I'm not going to explain Superman to you. He's
Nor
a
is this movie.
superhero, right? So this movie is about Superman. He kind of gets beat up by this new supervillain. In this incarnation of Superman, there's all kinds of, they're called metahumans. They're like people who have powers. There's a bunch of them around. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And basically this story is a battle between Superman and his values and Lex Luthor and his values. Lex Luthor is driven by envy and evil and wants to kill Superman. Superman wants that not to happen and also wants every living creature to be alive. So there's a lot of confrontation between sort of these lesser known super entities, metahumans, I guess. There's on the bad side, there's a woman called the Engineer, and then there's this Ultraman character who we find out more about later. And then on the good side, there's Superman, but there's also Mr. Fantastic,
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. Thank you. That's a whole different universe.
Yes.
And we've got Green Lantern and we've got Hawkgirl, as mentioned. I'm not going to go through the whole plot of this movie. You can probably figure it out just from who's where, and they have big fights and conflict and solve it. So that's what
Fair.
I'll say about Superman. Todd, what would you say about Superman?
Well, I feel like to keep the integrity of our podcast here, we have to admit that four of us who are giving reviews today, this is not our gut reaction.
Yes.
We have seen the movie before, which is anti what we typically do. But some of
I
us,
have
myself, yes, one person will give an honest review, gut reaction. The rest of us, I wasn't going to wait for us to do the podcast to see this movie.
Yes.
There, I said it.
Me as well.
I'm
Okay.
going to try and give my gut reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give my second reaction, too.
Yes. That's
fair. I'm going to try to combine it all.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I would say there are absolutely plenty of things to love about this movie. It is a good movie, I think. As a huge Superman fan, I mean, I think that they were able to hit all the main points that you need to hit for a Superman movie for the first time in a while. Well, as a person who never watched the newer show, Lois and Clark,
Superman,
or Superman and Lois, or whatever.
Excellent show.
And as a comic book fan and a Superman fan, I was happy with that aspect. We got some great points. We got some great character representation, and it's not just Superman. We got plenty of other great characters in this movie. A great, I thought, supporting Daily Planet cast that they don't get. I mean, they're kind of relegated to the background, but they're very important players, and it's not just like, hey, we all work together. Like, they actually play a very important part of the movie, and I enjoyed that aspect of just every character getting a chance to shine in their own special ways, including people who don't have powers. So, I thought the acting in this movie is great. Like any James Gunn movie, there were plenty of funny parts that are great funny, and then there were a couple parts where I was like, come on, James. But that's just me. On a whole, I'm going to say I enjoyed this movie. It's good. If I separate the Superman aspect from this movie and feeling like they nailed the character, as a movie, it's a little all over the place, and I don't think it's like going to win any awards for its story and pacing and stuff like that. But there's great cinematography. There's great CG that I don't think looked like too bad most of the time. I thought it was looking pretty fresh and good. We've seen some movies recently where the CG is just like going downhill. So it's kind of nice to see it brought back to a good standard. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to land on seeing this movie. I think you should see this movie. If you're going to see it, you should see it in theaters. There's no reason to wait for it to come out. Absolutely see it in theaters. Get the whole scope. See it in the big screen. I'll just say most of my things that I disliked about this movie are incredibly nitpicky and like honestly just not even worth sharing because it's all comic book stuff that like I'm like, that could have been a little bit better. But again, that's nitpicky. I do think separating the excitement of the story, like I said, the actual movie itself, if you're not a comic book fan or even a Superman fan or like used to comic books at all, it's going to feel like a very kind of all over the place movie. And that might upset some regular folk. But I don't know. Just saying. Also, apparently, if you believe the masses, Superman is super woke in this movie, I don't buy into that. If you think Superman is super woke in this movie, then you don't know Superman. So, I'm going to end on that one. Liam, what'd you think?
I thought it was really good. I think the, like you said, the all-overness could be a bit jarring, but I think that kind of works for what the movie was going for in being a really good comic book movie, because it felt like watching a comic book. The pacing felt like, okay, this part would be in issue 1, this part would be issue 2. It felt like going through a comic book and reading through an 8-issue arc. And I liked that it just expected you to just go with it and roll with it and accept some things that you might not understand if you're not super into the DC universe or the Superman lore. It was just really fun. I think is the biggest thing with it is it was brightly colored. The action sequences were unique. The characters were interesting. And like you're saying with the Daily Planet characters, I think it's finally a Superman movie that makes Jimmy Olsen an interesting character and actually portrays him as kind of Superman's best friend, which I think was a really nice change from having him just be like a kid. So I really liked it a lot. I don't think I have anything negative to say about it. It was just fun and enjoyable and hopeful and colorful and really poignant. Like you're saying, there's a lot of news stuff about it being, it's very politically charged, and I don't think it was intentionally written to be. It kind of feels like there are just real world situations that have cropped up that are similar to the storyline, but I don't think it was as intentional as some people are saying it is. But even if it was, I think it did so in a really well done way that wasn't too heavy-handed or too. It didn't feel preachy. It just felt. It just felt nice. Like it was trying to be like Superman. It was trying to be kind and hopeful.
Fair. Tim, we all know you're a fellow Superman fan, so let's keep it below a half hour.
Big time Superman fan. Had a lot of expectations and hype coming into this because, the trailers looked hopeful and nice and such a departure from what we've seen for the last decade. And I'm with the majority here so far that it was a fun, hopeful movie. And that's what Superman is. And it shouldn't be that hard to do. I, not as comic book versed as my friends here, although thanks to just, over the years, osmosis. But I liked that this one just threw you in there. We've seen the origin multiple times. We know Superman's upbringing and all that. And I like that this movie just said, all right, Superman's already a thing that's happening. Aliens and all that stuff is a thing in this world, and even to the point where these attacks are happening in Metropolis and the citizens are just kind of like, oh yeah, it's another day, but it's still fun in a fantastic way. They're not cynical about it. They trust Superman to save them, and they trust that things are going to go the way they need to. And I thought all the acting, like Todd said, on point. Everybody played their characters the way they should, or made for a great portrayal of them, like touching on notes from previous iterations while also adding something new. I really liked, like I said, the action, the bright colors, the hopeful music, the tone, all that, the sincerity. That's Superman. And it's just nice to see him not lit darkly, not brooding, not, a cynical guy who's not sure he should be Superman. Like, none of that stuff. This guy wanted to be good. You know, there's a key line, which I think there's an interview scene in this movie, which is a different take on this Clark Lois interview. And I like this one more. There's some tension in it. There's some real world, like it's the core of the values of both characters. And it hits the notes in a really good scene that I think defines Lois and Clark for who they are. And it's like you go from there you understand the rest of their movie and their motivations. It's not that hard to do. And just the whole movie worked for me. Seeing it the second time, I think I enjoyed it more because I didn't have all the stuff in my head about hype and exaggeration and wondering what's going to happen, and just being able to enjoy it as a movie. Is it the perfect Superman movie? No. I mean, there have been some great movies of Superman in the past. But is it up there as far as a really good one where I want to see more of this world, more of these characters? Absolutely. I think David is a great new version of Superman. Does he bring anything super extra to it that maybe Henry could have or anybody else? No. Again, script and directing is a big part of this, and I think James Gunn knew what he wanted to do with this, and he executed it, and I'm glad he did. And I'm glad to see a hopeful, fun, comic-y world where Superman is the anchor and the good heart at the center of it, because that's what Superman should be. Where even the other heroes are not sure about him, or they think he's a little dorky or too soft or whatever it is, but Superman just stands up for what he believes in, and that's it. And maybe he inspires the world, including his fellow heroes. And I loved Nicholas Hoult as Lex. I think he just captured the arrogance, but also the righteousness, the self-righteousness of his character, where he's just so convinced that he's right and that everybody should see what he sees, and that Superman is this evil thing that is making humanity weak or is going to enslave us, and he just cannot stand for it, and his ego won't let him have somebody be better than him. And I thought Holt played that so well, where he was just on the verge of tears in some scenes because his anger at Superman is so palpable. And I think that's a hard thing to pull off without being campy, and I thought he rode that line really well. I think Brosnahan's a great Lois. I wish we had a little more of her, but I like that she was a journalist first and not some love-struck girl that they played her as sometimes. It just, everything just hit right for me. And like I said, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a great start to a new DC universe, and I can't wait to see more. Eden?
I think, above everything else, it was a truly inspired choice to make the first ever film Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, God's favorite son and Oa's chosen angel, to deliver us from everything. And it was really kind of him to allow Superman and other people into his movie.
Written by the guy give you those notes?
Listen, Guy Gardner bleeds Old Bay and carries movies.
Yes, he does.
And he did that here. Yeah, I mean, for his supporting cast, I think that Superman was really great. I think Nick Hoult is on a whole other level. Liam mentioned earlier that it plays like a comic book, and I think that Nick Holt's Lex Luthor is so on this level that no one else is touching, where
Fantastic.
You can see, as he's doing his villain monologues, you can follow along and kind of pick out where each panel ends and goes into the next one. He's delivering dialogue that is this kind of slightly stilted, super over the top, but he's doing it in a way that feels both grounded in the scene and true to the nature of the source. I think that you have in that Superman, you have someone who is not the star of the show, and I think that is Superman. Wayne Gretzky had more assists than he had goals in a lot of cases,
Yep.
and that's Superman. Superman makes it so that the people around him are better. This Superman did that. He left space for other people to do it, and he solved the crime. He solved what he needed to solve, prioritizing human life, prioritizing getting the job done with the minimum amount of damage. And I think that you had such a beautiful encapsulation of the differences in opinions of how you should proceed in this movie. I think that, again, I'm the only one who's giving you a true gut. I'm sure that as all James Gunn movies, I will find things to later on, upon future retellings, go, oh, okay. But right now I have none. It was exactly what I needed from a Superman movie, and I like Superman. I am not a out-and-out Superman fan.
It's okay. We still love you.
Leaving that theater, I am one.
Oh, I like that. I
It
like
kind of just like really brought everything together. There's a character they tease at the end. I cannot wait for that movie.
Yep.
I think that we keep glancing over Metamorpho. Rex Mason, the Element Man.
Yep, he shows
was
up.
incredible with like such a limited amount that he was given,
Good call.
and emoting through CGI face and heavy makeup. He did a great job.
Yeah.
I think that like just so many things hit, and there was such care put into it. And I think that that's something that I haven't seen in Superman adaptations in. When were the 70s now? 40 years ago? 50 years ago? Whatever that was.
Yeah.
Math is weird.
However, math.
Yes.
So, yeah, all that, like, I think that it was not a flawless movie by any stretch, but it was exactly the movie it needed to be and exactly the movie I wanted. Guy Gardner, Dawn of Justice. Thank you, Ryan.
All right. Yes. 55 years ago.
My son is here to fact check me, and
Yeah.
that's all I needed.
But it's okay. He doesn't want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not. You know what? I did.
That
I
is a
did
good
forget
call. Crypto is a
and
MVP of
Ryan,
this
you don't trust me at all, do you, on this podcast?
He
Because
was
crypto's
the best
coming up,
about
all right?
movie. Crypto has you could argue, is one of the stars of the movie.
Before we get into rating, I noticed an Easter egg this time around that was kind of fun. That I'm sure there's plenty more, but in the beginning, when the Hammer of Baravia kind of eye blasts that
Yes.
office, in the background it was a Choco main office, and Chocos are the Oreos of the
Okay.
DCU, which are the favorite snack of Martian Manhunter.
Oh, nice. I
Nice.
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
What about Stag Industries? Is that a thing?
Stag Industries is a thing, yeah. Along with Lord Tech,
Lord, yes, the guy
which is funding the Justice Gang.
Yeah.
So,
To be explored there. There were a lot of Easter eggs left.
well,
Future stuff.
Every billboard was an Easter. They had what's the burger chain? Big Belly Burger or something like that. And Jitters Coffee.
Yeah, that Jitters
Jenner's Coffee is from the Flash show.
Yep.
So.
They didn't mention that. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, getting down to the nitty gritty,
What?
and I would not want to upset Ryan in the back. Oh, sorry, Matt. My bad.
Wow.
I do want to hear what you have to say.
Great, because I have
Let's not
things to
forget
say. So yes, I've seen this movie twice. I would say the first time through was my best experience. I really loved it the first time through. I really felt like there was a lot of poignant scenes. There was I had emotions the first time I watched this movie. And I'd say the second time through was I saw more of the sort of plot devices and the holes. They were like, well, why did you do that? At various times. However, and you guys have covered a lot of the ground already, but I'll say that I think this is a great Superman movie. I think it's a good superhero movie, and I think it's a slightly above average movie in general if you take out those other components, which you can't really take out because it is those things. But yeah, I thought I had a great time. I laughed, I cried, I really enjoyed a lot of the scenes, and I am not a comic book person, but I didn't care that there was so much going on, and I could just roll with it. It was fine. There's a lot to roll with, and I was just along for the ride, and that's fine with me. I still had a good time, even though I didn't know some of the characters, I didn't know the references, but it's definitely a fun ride, and will get good marks from me. So
Fair enough. One thing we haven't mentioned that I will mention is at times a incredibly great representation of the Kents, and at times
Yes.
I felt, okay, the cell phone, I can't use a cell phone because I'm old, is such low-hanging fruit at this point. Cell phones have been around for 30 plus years at this point. It is not new technology.
They went for country bumpkin.
They really
montage.
did.
I would love to introduce you to my grandparents.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
dad-
that's working off of my grandparents when
won't
they're
do that,
alive,
yeah.
but they've been dead for a while. But they use cell phones and Facebook. And
But my dad doesn't do any of that. Like, there are people.
It's true.
No, that is extremely calling my grandparents
Yes.
out.
I love the country bumpkin aspect to Mom and Pa.
Also, isn't it amazing that you could do an entire Pa Kent arc without a tornado? I thought that was incredible.
or maybe
Heart attack.
maybe him saying,
Right?
kids can die. I mean, that's fine.
Look, we don't need to bring up that
Yes.
Jonathan Kent.
That's why this Jonathan Kent, even in barely doing anything in this movie, it was miles better than that.
He made me cry. That's what he did.
I liked that they made them just normal
Yes.
Midwestern people. Like every other movie iteration or live action TV show, they've had this huge house with this huge amount of land, and they speak with East Coast accents. But this time they actually seemed like real
Midwestern
cattle farmers from middle of nowhere, Kansas. Like they were what they were written as. It's supposed to be as just average, hardworking, lower middle class people. Like they were, and it was clear how much they cared as parents.
Yes.
For Superman, like it was.
You could see how they were a big influence on Clark growing up,
Yeah.
and why he was such a good person on top of everything else, because he had about the most prototypical American upbringing, and that's what's part of what makes Clark who he is.
All right, now getting down to it, to appease Ryan, how many cryptos would you give this movie? Crypto is a major player in this movie. And I was reading that because of this movie, interest in dog adoption went up 500%. Which,
Odds are they won't behave like him.
Well, also, it's a very play on
Odds are
words.
they will.
I do love that half the movie is crypto, stop, crypto.
I had to laugh at the headline because it's like interest in adoption ruse 500%.
Well, yeah, because
I'm like,
there's that.
okay, what a play on words there. All right, 0 being the worst because then you have no cryptos. And, that's just not fun. 5 being the best because then you got like a little army of cryptos, and man, that sounds like havoc.
Oh boy.
Matt,
Well, I'm going to go with a 3.25 is my gut reaction score. Crypto's out of 5. My non-gut score, my gut reaction score is, of course, the one that counts.
Yeah.
That's the one that's
But
recorded.
second viewing score.
Second viewing score, I would say, drops to about a 3. Still a great movie, still a good movie. Still enjoyed myself, but I saw a little bit more of the flaws the second time. So,
Sure.
But 3.25 for me.
Liam,
Solid 4.
solid 4.
If we're going just by what should be the gut reaction number, it was a 4. When
Fair enough.
First time I watched it out of the theater, I was geeking out, and it was just great. So solid 4.
Were you geeking out of your gourd?
I didn't have a gourd at the time. Next time I'll bring a gourd. Next time I watch this
Now
movie.
you know what your job
Fair.
is.
Summer squat.
Tim?
Yes. I also thought about this first night I saw it. Like, what would the rating be? And I'm right with Liam. I'm at a 4.0. I think it's a great Superman performance in a good movie. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it definitely is one of those, like, I want to see more of this. I would love to revisit this land and revisit these characters. And I just smiled through most of the movie because I just enjoyed it. 4.0.
Eden?
That's going to be a 4.43, Baltimore's area code. Just like Guy Gardner is Baltimore's Green Lantern.
I do wish he had done a little more Baltimore accent.
You
It
don't
was-
criticize perfection.
I mean, I love Nate. I love Nate Fillion. He's one of my favorite actors. But, yeah.
I genuinely think that, like, I will come into things to dislike. I don't have any right now.
Gut reaction.
So I'm leaving space for that. I feel like leaving it, I am jazzed, I'm hyped. I love this vision for the future of James Gunn's DC movies. And again, the first ever Green Lantern portrayed on screen is Guy Gardner, which makes it a perfect movie.
First ever Green
Ever.
Lantern portrayed on screen. Oh, fair enough.
Todd.
So I'm gonna try to stick with a gut reaction, and this is gonna sound kind of weird based off of like what I've said so far, but my gut reaction, and I can tell you why it's this. It's gonna be like a 4.4, and
No, I think that's
it's not because the movie is that good. It's because of the few scenes that I felt truly captured the essence of this character in
Yes.
a way that we haven't seen in a long time. And for me personally, it's been something I've been waiting for.
Yeah,
for
I
a long
agree with
time.
that too, Todd.
So, like, I can't remember what the country's called, but when the kids are raising the Superman flag,
Yes.
got me.
Yep.
Both times I've seen this movie.
I love
when
his-
Paul Kent's talking.
Yep.
Both got me. Like
It-
both scenes got me.
For
the
me,
second time I watched
Superman's
it.
big speech when he finally confronts Lex, I think is super well done.
Yeah, I mean, like, so if now my rating for like a second watch is probably more like a 3.6, but that first time
That's still
walking
good.
out of it, like, and I had nitpicky things walking out of it the first time, but if I'm to like rate how I was feeling and my gut reaction, I was like, those couple of scenes is what I've been waiting for a long time, and I finally was happy. And I've given James Gunn a ton of crap over the years, so I will say those scenes were greatly captured. James, if you want to come on the podcast and talk about it, you're more than welcome.
He understood Superman.
You understood some of those points, and you did great, and I want you to feel good about it.
Todd, would you say that you like average those out to maybe like a 4.10?
No.
Right.
At least it didn't
But I
drop to a
will
3.01.
100% agree with your statement that Guy Gardner is Baltimore's Green Lantern. I'll jump on that and say that's accurate.
Fair enough.
A lot
Okay.
of car racing going on right now
Yeah.
or something. Jeez.
It's a big night in the
It's not
garage
time
here.
for Fast 11.
Well, any last thoughts before we close the door on this one?
I'm so glad they gave him the shorts.
Yes, the
Fair.
trunks on the uniform look great.
Good.
Bright
the S
colors.
is crap. The S is crap. No. I
That's
cannot
fine.
go down that road. The
But the
S
bright,
is crap.
I like the S on the back on the cape.
Sure.
I just
Because it's an actual S.
yes. And to me, the bright colors. It's such a simple thing, but this movie was bright and hopeful, and just looked clean, and the way no more sepia tone and muted and everything. Like, this is a bright universe that I want to be more part of.
Also, I didn't notice the first time, but Christopher Reeve's son makes a cameo as a news reporter.
Correct. Yes. Nice little cameo there.
Will Reeve.
I liked the S.
I can get
Yeah.
used to it.
Okay.
I
Well,
liked it because it was in this movie.
All right, we went down this road. And okay, there's too much going on with the
You
costume.
did it. Now you're nitpicking.
We
Here
don't
we go.
need all the lines and stuff like that. Every time we've gotten far from the 78 costume, there's been way too much going on. Let's not forget that in Superman Returns, they had little Superman emblems on
Like
the boots
this?
that went through everything.
Yeah.
There's just too much. Like, it's simple, it's basic, it's good.
you got the underpants back. I mean,
I
what
mean,
else
I got to
can you
take
say?
what I can get, I guess. Like,
And bright red and bright blue.
And I would say John Williams' score returning
Yes.
is
absolutely.
always wonderful.
Absolutely a necessity. I just
Yeah.
Every hint
the
of it was
decisions to
fantastic.
have Superman movies and not have that score in it have
I
been
agree.
just dumb to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the main score.
No,
like
no,
in
no.
this one, it switches
Hints
a
of
lot.
it. Hints of it.
But the fact that they would make so many shows and movies and stuff like that and not have that theme in it is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
That heavy Jack Antonoff synth all over it was so good to me.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, where we reviewed the movie Superman, 2025 edition. We gave it an average rating of 4.016 cryptos out of 5, which is a very good rating. It's our highest rating
of
this
the
year.
right? Yeah.
It overtopples The Accountant 2, which we loved.
I agree.
And
What a wild movie that was the highest rating.
is.
So
Yeah.
what
It's
a
been
wild
it's
move
been
on
a
this.
rough year.
yeah.
That's a bold strategy on our end.
We really all liked that
We
movie.
did. Like, I mean,
So,
I've watched it again since we've seen it in theaters.
there you
and
go.
I was like, you know what? I enjoyed this.
Stands up. Anyway, thank you, listeners, for listening. Hopefully we've given you some good information if you were waiting to see this movie, or some good conversation if you've already seen it. Please continue to listen to our podcast and download it and like it and message us and all the podcast stuff. And we will see you next time.
Da 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 da
Da da
da da da.
da da da.